So we chill in here at one of the stairwells, and the doors are closed. The doors are always closed, but because they're like fire doors. But either way, if you were testing, they'd be closed too. So like
Someone's coming.
someone's coming, but you can't hear them coming because it's doors are shut and it's quiet
Be wise or quiet.
because we're standardized testing and why it's important. That doesn't make any sense, but
You took your standardized test, right?
yeah, I did. What?
You gotta get, you need them to get in college. You need them to pass high school sometimes.
Yeah. So why don't we make sure this door is closed? Shh. The people are testing.
You have to whisper.
Yeah.
They're
So
not really testing. That's just a stairwell.
yeah. So let's go find out why it's important to do your standardized testing.
Hi, I'm Brianna Kelly here talking with Ms. Wiegand about the standardized testing. So what are standardized tests?
Standardized tests is a major 5-hour exam that most four-year colleges would like all students to take in order to make sure that they're college ready.
So what are some major ones that we take?
Definitely the two exams that most kids have heard of is SAT or ACTs. Both are equally important, and colleges do not care which one you take because it is your $50 that you're spending.
Okay, and how can you prepare for the SATs?
Definitely, I always advise kids do not roll out of bed and take this major exam. In the junior power presentation that I did for all juniors, I gave them a whole folder about SAT and ACT and mobile apps, but definitely if you don't know where to start with Naviance. I was lucky enough to load an SAT prep and an ACT prep onto Naviance as soon as you log in. So I would definitely encourage sophomores to even get started, but definitely juniors.
Okay, and what are the difference between the ACTs and the SATs?
And that's where the tricky question becomes. There are huge differences between the two. SATs and ACTs, some of the similarities is that it is expensive. It is about 5 hours of your life on a Saturday morning and extremely tedious to prepare for. But the differences is huge. There's 3 sections on the SAT, the critical reading, the math, and the writing, where on the ACTs, there's a science section and an optional writing section. The SATs are tricky problem-solving questions. The ACT is straightforward high school curriculum questions. The SATs allow you to skip questions and they don't penalize you, where the ACTs encourage educational guessing. So there are a lot of differences, and the sooner you learn about the differences, the better you'll be prepared.
Are there different subjects on the SATs compared to the ACTs?
Yes, one of the things that I do tell students about the ACTs, because it is actually not uncommon for students to perform better on one than the other, is that there's a trigonometry piece in the ACT. So definitely you should be in pre-calculus before you attempt it, and there's a science piece, so therefore if you're going into a science major, a college might see that you taking the ACT is actually more beneficial. And for the SATs, it's 3 sections, the critical reading, the math, and the writing section, and it goes up to Algebra 2 and everything underneath it.
Okay, and how are the SATs scored this year?
For now, the SATs, I think since 2008, they introduced the writing section, and it's 2,400 points. But major changes are coming. There's a new article that came out recently that I sent to all parents with a valid email address that starting the spring of 2016, there's a new SAT test that is being introduced, and it's going to go back to the old 1,600. So 800 for critical reading and 800 for math. And I think that they are changing it because they're noticing that students are saying that the SAT questions are not really college related. It's a problem-solving test, and you struggle and you struggle and you test, and it's tricky how they score it, and there's strategies involved. And a lot of people are turning over to the ACT, which again is seen as a standardized test, and it's a lot more understandable, straightforward, and about the knowledge of today. So I think that SATs are changing it to make it more relevant to today's knowledge in school.
Okay, what would you say is a good score on an SAT?
Definitely, a student is always more than their number, but in a very busy college season, a lot of colleges, especially the big ones, are not going to accept an interview. So therefore, they really see you as 2 major numbers, your GPA and your SAT or ACT. Definitely rule of thumb, I always tell kids to strive for a 3.0 GPA, and as far as SAT is concerned, the state average is about 500, so therefore shoot for about a 500, and as far as the ACTs, about a 23 is the state average. Keep in mind, the higher your GPA, the more you'll be accepted to your school of dreams, but also the higher your SAT or ACT, you'll get scholarship money. So that's that extra piece that I'm sure everybody wants. So for instance, Temple. Temple is a state-related school, very popular here with our students. It's about $14,000 a year without room and board. But if you get a 3.0 or an 1150, you get an automatic $3,000 scholarship. If you get a 375 or a 1400 on the 1600 scale, it's a full ride. So always, your GPA and SAT is wrapped up with scholarship money as well.
Okay, and what's the highest score that you can get on a SAT?
SAT for now, 2400. In 2 years, it'll be back to the 1600 scale. And a 2400 right now is equivalent to a 36 on the ACTs.
Okay, and how is the scoring working on ACTs rather than SATs?
Same thinking. There's 5 sections, so they're going to add up all 5 of those sections and come up with that score of a 36 for a perfect score. I definitely want to beg and encourage all juniors to take at least one SAT and maybe one ACT before summer of senior year. So that way you can figure out which test is more your style, study all summer and take it again, maybe October of senior year. There are 2 more exams coming up. There is a June 7th SAT that is not going to be hosted by Norristown. So if you do apply, you just have to find another location. And there is a June 14th ACT that is offered at Norristown. So if you qualify for free and reduced lunch, I could give you 2 free SAT waivers and 2 free ACT waivers.
Okay, and how do you prepare for the ACTs?
Definitely both tests are coachable. So therefore, I never say that you need a $1,000 tutor sitting next to you to help you, because I know my brother didn't have a tutor and he got an 800 on his critical reading section and a 780, but he is a genius. But anyway, so start off with Naviance, do the SAT prep, do the ACT prep, come see me. I have more free websites that I could give you. I could give you a mobile app. There's flashcards out there you could buy. You can go to the store and buy a $25 CD-ROM. There are multiple ways to study for both exams.
Okay, and say that you don't take the SATs, do you have to take the ACTs?
Most four-year colleges would prefer you take one or the other. Now, there's a lot of schools out there that's starting to become SAT optional, which means I think St. Joe's is going that direction, Cabrini might be going that direction, I think Muhlenberg already is there. The trick to SAT optional is that those schools are usually $40,000, $45,000. So although our kids get great financial aid packages here at Norristown, it is hard to get a $45,000, financial aid package. So I would recommend that you attempt to study for both, or at least one, and hopefully get into the college of your dreams and get scholarship money through that way.
Okay, and when are they again?
There is an SAT that is June the 7th, and the deadline for that is May the 9th, and it's held somewhere other than Norristown. And there is a June 14th ACT, deadline May the 9th, and it is here at Norristown.
Okay, well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, just please take one or the other test before the end of summer of junior year so that you can come back and get a running start for senior year if you have to take it again. But hopefully you don't have to take it again because you finished it before summer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Brianna Kelly here with Miss Began talking about standardized testing. Now back to the Eagle's Eye.